6, Town of Webster Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. As we get through things, we will have open forum for the public to speak. We will be limiting the time for the public to 5 minutes, so please keep that in mind. We have 2 tabled matters and 5 scheduled matters for tonight.
3.
Oh, sorry, 3, thank you. I'm looking at the number 5,
Yeah.
not... What we're going to do, instead of doing the tabled matters first, we're going to do the scheduled matters first tonight. And then once we're done with the scheduled matters, we'll move over to the tabled matters. Let's see. Though I don't anticipate it happening, the board does have the right to end the meeting by 10 p.m. Again, I don't anticipate that. If we do that, we will table the remaining items. I do have the proof of publication here for all the items. Call for attendance.
Mr. Short,
Here.
Mrs. Volo,
Here.
Mr. Spampanato,
Here.
Mr. Santola,
Here.
Mrs. D'Amelio,
Here.
Mr. Accorsi.
Here.
Corso. I apologize. I'm sorry, I'm looking at you. Ms. Corsi
Present.
and Mr. DeMarco.
Present.
If we can stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, with that, we'll start with, let's see, 1249 Creek Run.
Mill Creek.
Mill Creek Run, thank you. The applicant, Peter Penque, couldn't come up? I said, I got that? All right. So, as anybody's up at the podium, please speak into the mic.
Okay.
We do use it for public access and closed caption and everything else.
Okay. So I'm Pete Penque. My beautiful wife is Crystal. We are all our lives been in Webster. Our mothers live in Webster. I'm not sure you care about that stuff, but it matters to me. We have a PowerPoint, yes. So I'm looking forward to add an addition on the back of my house. Erica, okay, perfect, thank you. Do I just go page to page? Is that the best way to do it?
Yep, I'm just going to scroll through. You can discuss character of the neighborhood, your responses, et cetera, with the board, and then once we get to the end, they'll ask you any additional questions.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm asking for a setback of 42.4 foot from the rear of the property line. And then the project location, I'm sorry, I'm still up there.
Yep, you're good.
So we got it outlined right there. The sides are fine, just the rear of the property line is not 50 feet.
So the survey,
I don't have to go through all that stuff, do I? I do, okay.
yes.
Okay, what do you want me to do with this? Just read this?
So,
Go ahead, Michael.
So what the board needs to understand is how, if at all, this project, the variance is going to affect various things that are on here. So you can read it. You've already provided this information to the town, so you can read it. We want it on public record.
Okay.
You can, you don't have to read it verbatim. You can present the information, but ultimately, the information that you've already presented to the board, to the town through your application is the information that we're utilizing, and then any additional information that you have, that you want to share, like you've been a resident your entire life, your family's, it's information that's helpful for the board to hear as well. So, again, feel free to read it verbatim, but ultimately, these are the items that we need to understand, is really what it comes down to. But again, you don't have to read it verbatim if you don't want to.
Okay, so, thank you. The character of the neighborhood, if we look down at my neighborhood, almost every house has the addition on the back. They really do. At my house, oddly enough, is where the painters lived when they built the neighborhood. So I have a very small 1,000-square-foot ranch surrounded by 2,000-square-foot houses. And then that is the picture, good. I did try with my contractor to make the addition work without a variance, but the roof pitch, and that's over my head, they can't do it from the width. So that's why I had to ask for that 8 feet. Any other question not significant? I'm not sure if it is or isn't, but all I'm asking for is that 8 feet.
Okay.
No physical or environmental issues will result from the construction of the addition. This kind of explains it. So I do live in a 1,000-square-foot ranch with beautiful wife, 3 kids, 2 dogs, and a wonderful guinea pig that if you want him, you can have him.
It's the guinea pig that put you over, right?
It is, yes. Nothing else is living is coming to my house. My 7-year-old wants a fish, though, so that might happen. Moving, I want to stay in Webster. That's where we're comfortable. So we've looked in Webster, but I know we're all aware of this. $150,000 over asking. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous, so we decided this, we're comfortable, we live in the neighborhood we love, the schools are good. All we want to do is just make that addition and stay there for our life, and then have it for our grandkids.
Thank you.
You're
That
welcome.
was nicely done, so I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I do have a question on one of the surveys that we were provided. It indicated proposed addition and proposed pool. So are you proposing an indoor,
That is
Pool?
in the air.
okay?
Possibly, yes. Yeah.
That doesn't apply to this board. You guys don't, he doesn't need any approvals for
No,
that.
I
if he were to
understand,
do it.
I'm trying to
Yeah.
understand what
Okay, understood.
what I'm looking at, and
Yep.
I was just trying to understand it, that's all. Okay,
So I grew up with the guy that owns Auto Finishers, Anthony. They have the Publishers Parkway, the house right across the street, indoor pool. Oh, excuse
Yep.
me. And that was awesome.
yeah,
It'd be kind of cool to have one for obviously my kids, because
Sure.
they're fish.
Yep.
And then my grandkids,
yeah,
yeah, if
Okay.
it happens.
yeah, understood. Okay, other questions from the board?
No questions.
No? All right. I'll open up to the public. Does anybody want to speak for or against this project? No? Bring it back to the board. Any other questions from the board? No? I did drive by the house earlier today. As you said, smallest house in the neighborhood, very tight backyard. Any communication with your neighbors, 1246 Holly or 1253 Mill Creek?
Next door, they've been in Paris for a long time.
Okay,
They don't care, though. They're cool as heck.
okay,
The neighbors behind me, they're on Holly. They don't care either. Yep.
Okay.
All right, there you go.
okay.
No autographs, no, I didn't go to their house and get autographs from them. but
Understood.
We're all open, they all have kids, so we all kind of hang out in that corner.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Very good.
If you look at the view that's on the screen right now, 4 of the houses have additions already on the back. We've had several variances for that neighborhood. It makes the most sense to put additional living space off the back of the house. There's really no other place.
Yeah. I mean, these pie-shaped lots make it real difficult.
Yeah.
So, okay. If there's no other questions or comments from the board, I'd like to make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant under NYCRR section 617.5C of the environmental code.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Findings?
I'm happy to run through them if you'd like.
Please do so.
The request is not out of character with the neighborhood. I don't know if it's quite 90%, but there's a lot of houses along that subdivision that have had additions added to the back of, specifically to the back of the house. The detriment will not not create a detriment to nearby properties. The addition really is only going to be seen by the neighbor immediately to your rear and to your side. And from their house, I don't think it's going to look like it's out of place as far as the distance from the rear lot line. Not achievable by any other method. As you had indicated, you and your architect worked to try and find a less impactful location or addition, and the roof line of your house would not work with the roof line of a new addition. No adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site or the neighborhood. That's just self-stated. I'll say it's not self-created in that you do have probably one of the smallest houses within that subdivision, so to build a house to code with current Webster, you couldn't build a 1,000 square foot house. I think it would have to be at least 1,200 or 1,400 square feet, so. And it's certainly not an undesirable change. It will give you guys extra space, and I'm assuming it will look as nice as the rest of the house.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else?
Nope.
If you'd like, I can make a motion.
Go for it.
To grant an area variance at 1249 Mill Creek Run to allow a 44.4-foot rear setback where 50 feet is required, associated with the construction of the 1,080
Hold
square
on,
foot addition.
Corinne. It's advertised for 42.4.
I'm sorry, did I read that
You
wrong?
said 44.4.
I'm sorry, 42.4.
Yeah,
My
thank you.
mistake. Where 50 feet is required for a 1,080 square foot addition on a .41 acre parcel, SBL number 065.13-2-29, located in an R3 single-family residential district.
Second.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Miss D'Amelio, Mr. Corsi, oh, messed up. Mr. Corso.
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mr. Short.
Aye. You have your area variance for the rear setback. You have 1 year for meaningful movement on the project. You will also need to get all the other permits and approvals necessary.
Okay.
So, good luck.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Erica, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're welcome.
Next up, 1084 Bright Stream Way. If applicant Ryan Trenkler can come on up.
Good afternoon, everybody. Not nearly as prepared as Peter was. Seemed like he had everything in front of him. Not nearly as prepared. But born and raised Webster, spent some time out in Ontario, but didn't like it out there. Just not the same character. So came right back to Webster about 2 years ago, moved into the property in question. We have a 3-year-old golden retriever, loves to run, loves to get her energy out. And we now have a 7-month-old at home who will very soon be looking to run as well. And the current backyard, while quite large, is not protected in any way. I would hate to have the dog or the baby run out into the street. So we are looking to install a 6-foot white vinyl privacy fence around the inboard edge of the yard. Due to the nature of it being a corner lot, there is a concern, property line right over yonder, where that is encroaching on what would be considered a front yard. However, I think we can all agree that it's not really a front yard other than just zoning. So looking to get a variance to get that project started.
Questions from the board?
Just to confirm that you won't be removing any of the existing trees?
No, the tree line will be staying exactly as it is. Those trees have been there since the property was built in 1987, and no plans on removing those.
And the fence will be on the inside of that?
Inside of the tree line, yes. And
Thank
actually, I do have photos of the property just taken just the other day, if I can pass those out to the board, just showing either side of that tree line. So the first photo will be from the inside of the lot, looking out towards the street. And then the other photo will be from the street side looking into the property, where you can see not really much visibility on either side into the property or out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Figured I'd need more copies than I need.
The other question I have for you is, on the right side of this image, are you bringing the fence line back to the house to,
So there is already a few sections of the fence that the previous owners had put in.
So you're
many years
attaching to
ago.
that
Attaching to that and continuing on, yes.
okay. I drove by earlier today, I didn't see it because those trees are so dense.
Right, yeah. Yeah, they've been there quite a while, so
Yep.
there's
Okay,
definitely coverage, just not protection.
yep, understood. Other questions from the board? No? I'd like to open it up to the public for anybody who wants to speak for or against the project. All right, I'll bring it back to the board. Any other comments from the board? Since there are no additional comments, I'd like to make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant NYCR section 617.5C of the Environmental Code.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
With that, move on to the findings.
Okay, the granting the variance will not impact the essential character of the neighborhood. There's actually almost no change, not less than undesirable change in the character, and it will not be a detriment to the nearby properties. If alternates were considered, it is a corner lot, so you want to be able to use as much of your lot as possible, so it makes sense, and in fact, he is placing it behind the screen and not taking as much land as he possibly might want to by putting the fence within the tree line. The request is not substantial or significant, once again, based on it being a corner lot. He's trying to utilize as much as the yard as possible for his family and his pets. There aren't any physical or environmental conditions that are being adversely affected by granting of the variance and putting the fence up. And it is self-created, but it is a response that allows him to let him and his family utilize the yard as much as possible.
Yeah, I'd just like to add that, as Chris has already mentioned, the fence is going to be on the interior side of the existing vegetation. They got to be 20-plus foot pine trees. It's a very thick vegetation, so by putting the fence line on the interior side, it has no impact on the visual aesthetics of the neighborhood whatsoever. As I drove by earlier today, I didn't even know that there was another fence back behind there. So again, no impact to the community for this project. That, I'd like to make a motion for an area variance located at 1084 Bright Stream Way to allow a 6-foot privacy fence in the front yard of a corner lot on a 0.59 acre parcel having SBL 064.08-2-79, located in R2 Single Family Residential District under Section 35011 of the town code for the town of Webster.
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mr. Corso.
Aye.
You have your variance. You still need to get your permit from the building. What's that? Oh, Chris. Still have to call. No, you did. No?
Mr. Santola?
Aye.
Oh, sorry.
I thought, no?
Yeah.
She got excited, said Corso, right?
Pronounced my name correct.
Oh, yeah.
I gladly will,
No, I said Mr. Short, Mr. Santola.
no.
That's all right, all right,
Yeah.
all right.
Did you hear it?
getting in.
You now have your variance.
What a mess.
We're excited, it's the summer. You now have your variance, you still have to get your building permit
course.
for the fence. You have 1 year to get the project complete. You enjoy your summer.
Perfect. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Next up, 785 Summerdale Drive. If applicant Randy Potok can come on up.
All right, good evening. My name is Randy Potok. I am the resident of 785 Summerdale Drive, where I am filing for an area variance for a shed. I've been a resident there 18 years. It is a corner lot. As you can see on the screen, it's outlined in yellow. The area I'm requesting is within the 30-foot setback for, be the southwest portion of that lot right there. And the shed is approximately 10 by 20. All right, so I'll just go into the standards. I don't anticipate any negative impact to the character of the neighborhood. It's a brand-new construction, professionally built, and it should not encroach on any of the neighboring properties. Alternates considered, I did explore other options on the lot. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I have mature trees, vegetation, and the areas where we could do it within the boundaries would require probably removing some of that, or it would impede the open grass area where the kids play. So I was not looking to do that if possible. Substantiality, it's a corner lot, so it is considered frontage, and it would be within that 30-foot setback, but it would be approximately 8 foot from both property boundaries. No environmental impacts expected. And last, self-created difficulty. It's a corner lot. Like I said, if it was normal, single frontage, it would fall within the boundaries. In this case, it does not.
So I do have a quick question. I drove by earlier today.
Yes, sir.
Off on, is that Huckleberry Way? You have a berm, you have a handful of trees there. Yep, down on the, yep, right there. So you're going to keep it as close to within 8 foot of the property line on the rear side is where it's going to go. I'm trying to, when I drove by, I'm trying to envision physically where it's going to be.
I had flags up. I actually just removed them to mow, but, so did you notice the new berms?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so it would be approximately 8 foot from each of those
Got it.
within the property.
What determined the 8 feet? For set, I mean, no, I don't know, because like you said, there's berms there, and you obviously want to keep it on your property line, but was there a specific reason for the
It was,
distance, or it just?
it was arbitrary. It was my.
No, I just,
Yeah. it was-
nothing wrong with that, I'm just
Okay.
curious.
I just wanted to keep it far enough away from the property line, and from those berms where you can mow around it.
Perfect. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
You're not running electric or anything out there?
No, sir.
Okay. Other questions from the board?
When I went by it last, I think Friday, I could have swore I saw a trailer parked in that spot. Was
Yes,
it?
yes, sir.
What are you gonna do with the trailer?
That's just to load materials and, because I have to prep the site if it does get approved for gravel and make a pad there.
So will it be gone after where are you gonna park it?
I have another property.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Other questions from the board?
No, I mean, it's going to be hidden again by the tree line,
Yep,
so no one will know it's there unless you go looking for it
right.
within the property.
Open it up to the public. Anybody want to speak for or against the project? No? Back to the board. Any other questions or comments from the board? Okay, with that, I'd like to make a motion for a type 2 action under seeker pursuant under NYCR section 617.5C of the Environmental Code.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Findings?
I can if you want.
Does anybody else want to do it?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Well, unless you want to. So granted, the variance will not impact the essential character of the neighborhood. It won't produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood, mostly because there's existing buffering between the applicant's property and the street with both berms and vegetation. And the shed is located so that it works with the existing vegetation and the applicant's planned use of it. The applicant did state that they did look at other alternative locations, but that this was the best one for both his use and for the screening aspect of the berm along North Huckleberry. Because it's a corner lot, the requested variance is not substantial or contextually significant. Once again, because of the depth of the corner lot and the existing berm and vegetative buffer, it'll be significantly screened, and the application will not have any potential physical or environmental impacts upon the lot or the neighborhood. While the application is self-created, it does appear to be the best location for the lot, especially it being a corner lot with essentially 2 30-foot required setbacks.
Anybody else want to add anything else?
Yeah, that covers it.
And I'd like to make a motion for an area variance located at 785 Summerdale Drive, to allow a utility shed to be located in the front yard of a corner lot in association with the installation of a 200-square-foot shed on a 0.68 acre parcel having SBL 079.05-3-13, located in an R3 single-family residential district under section 350-12 of the Code of the Town of Webster.
Second.
Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mr. Centol,
Aye.
Mr. Corso.
Aye.
You have your area variance, you still need, you have 1 year for completion, you still need to get all your other permits and everything else that's necessary.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Have a good summer. Now moving over into the tabled matters for the zoning interpretation, located at 139 Caracas Drive. If the representative can come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to speak. This matter, as the chair suggested, was on at the last month's for consideration. It was adjourned and tabled so that we could do some additional exploration on the issue of the statute of limitations. As the Zoning Board of Appeals is probably aware, the code provides that appeals must be submitted within 60 days, quote, after the filing of any order, requirement, decision, interpretation, or determination of the code enforcement officer. It was suggested at the last meeting that the board might want to consider the possibility that Mr. Artuso's announcement that the town board would be considering sending to the planning board an application that was for solar panel development, that was to be treated under an industrial use permit only. That does not raise statute of limitations issues for 3 different reasons. First, that announcement was a fallacy. It was a nullity. There was no application in Mr. Artuso's possession. There was no application before the board. So there's nothing in the announcement that was correct. Now, secondly, because there was no application before Mr. Artuso or before this board, there wasn't an application that I could review either. Now, if I am to challenge the propriety of any application, I have to be able to read it. Otherwise, I mean, the application could have been treated perfectly legitimately and appropriately. I wouldn't know until I read it. And if you're going to start the clock before I have the ability to read an application, because we don't even have one, then Mr. Artuso is unlawfully shortening my client's statute of limitations. Simply can't do that. Thirdly, nothing in an announcement of a public meeting of the town board constitutes the filing of a decision or an order of the law enforcement officer. As Mr. DeMarco suggested at the last meeting, there's nothing in the town's procedures that technically satisfy that requirement. And I have used, and I've urged the board to consider, an email that was sent by Mr. Artuso back on April 1st. The only reason I did that is because it does explain his rationale for treating it as an industrial use application. And we did file our appeal within 60 days of that. So if we're using that as a starting point, then we've satisfied the statute. But in truth and in fact, the statute hasn't even, the clock hasn't even started running, because that also does not constitute the filing of a decision in order relative to his decision. It was simply an internal email. So unless the board has some questions with respect to the statute of limitations issue that was brought up at the last meeting, I'd be happy to very briefly review the merits of our appeal.
So I guess, thank you for that. I guess ultimately the question to the board is ultimately an interpretation of the zoning, right? That was really the first point that came to this board. At the last meeting, there was question of timing and if it could even if it even should be here in front of us. I think honestly, the board has the ability to take a look at and make a determination on the merit of the interpretation and what was interpreted by the town. I know I had an opportunity to go through documentations, and though the document that was presented on April has some clarity, so do other documents. I would say, in my opinion, there's no smoking documentation that provides an earlier date. So from my opinion, I think it'd be more prudent for this board to move forward with making a determination on the merit versus determining the timing of everything. I guess I want to hear from everybody else what your thoughts were, if you had chances to review the documents and if you feel differently.
I tend to agree with you. I do just want to make a point of clarification, because I did pull up the document that we had discussed was the resolution made by the town board and the July 2025 town board meeting. There was actually an application submitted, so I just want to correct for the record, or make sure the facts are out there for the record, that when I pulled it up right now from the town's website, there is a June 30th application from Montante Solar that was part of what was on the town website for the entire town of Webster and anybody else that cares to look at. And it appears very similar to the information that you had also provided that was an amended application from August.
Respectfully.
So there is something that was there. It's not like the town board acted based on nothing.
Thank you for the clarification. The town board had a partial application that did not even include a site plan. So incomplete was the material that was submitted to the town board, that the town supervisor was not even aware that it was being placed on top of a hazardous waste site. He thought, and this is in the record, when he referred it to the planning board, that it was being built in a field somewhere. They had a very brief skeleton of an application, nothing nearly even approaching legal sufficiency for an application.
Typically, and I could be incorrect, but typically I believe at the beginning stage of a project, this would be the information received, and granted, I'm just doing it from my engineering perspective from an entirely different industry, but the application that's here is a rough site plan with the recommendation to send it to the planning board, which is what any project would do within the town of Webster, and then the details are filled in before anything is finalized. Final plans typically are not the first, and I could be speaking out of turn.
Well, for a project this
But
size,
for a
they're
project
not.
of this size, the first plan you see is not the plan you end up with. You start with, this is what I'd like to do, and then you fine tune it. The information I'm looking at, and granted, I'm just pulling it up today from your comments, has rough dimensions, it has the rough layout of the solar field, it has a short application, there's information here that's too small for me to want to read on my phone, but there's several pages, so it's not no information, it's preliminary information, probably, I
And
would have to read
and the
it.
town board accepted it as an application, I guess was the question. Was this
Right.
just, hey, can we come by and talk about it? Or was an application made, form work filled out, and?
It's a formal.
It's a formal,
Yeah,
it's a
that's what
formal
I'm saying. That's
application.
what I'm saying. So it's a formal application. So the fact that it isn't ready to be built based on the information there doesn't lessen the fact that an application was made.
Sure.
I mean,
And it doesn't change the direction that the board is going to go with, but I just want to clarify that it's not as though the town board acted in total darkness,
Thank you.
based on the documentation, at least, that's available to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I saw as well, right? There was documentation out there. It's not, things aren't being hidden from the public. It's out there. And the process is playing out as it should. So, thank you. Any other questions? Like I said, I think moving forward with the basis of merit, whether the town presented this project appropriately. Because right now, the town, the site is an industrial site. The town looked at this, they looked at zoning code 155-6, which is the approval standards for a large-scale solar energy system. And a large-scale solar, and it states, large-scale solar energy systems are permitted through the issuance of a special use permit within all residential districts. The site in question is not an industrial district. So I guess my question to the board is, does anybody feel that this needed a special use permit? And the way I look at this, based on 155-6, a special use permit was not required.
I would agree with, I came to the same conclusion.
May I address the board on that point? Thank you.
You misstated your words in terms of,
said that it wasn't an industrial district, unless I heard you.
The site that it is on is an industrial district.
Correct.
So if I misstated it, that's not what I meant to say. Other questions? I mean, I don't know if
I
anybody
concur
else-
with what you've said.
Okay. Mr. Hanna, you want to make a comment?
Yes, before the board makes up its mind on that point, the board really has to consider how the state courts require zoning boards of appeals to view the zoning code. And you have to understand, and I apologize, you're at something of a disadvantage because, and I'd encourage you to turn to Mr. DeMarco for assistance, but there are laws of statutory construction and interpretation, and you need to sort of understand that to understand how the courts are going to view this thing. First, specific language in the statutory code always trumps general language. And in this situation, we have two potentially applicable provisions of the code. One is industrial use, doesn't say anything about solar panels. It says something about public utilities, but for reasons I won't go into it, this doesn't qualify as a public utility. There isn't any question about that. So we have an industrial use section that says nothing about solar panel developments, and we have a residential section, a solar law section that applies to residences that is very, very specific about the development of solar farms. And it gives a whole bunch of criteria that have to be met. Now, the courts have been very, very consistent in making sure that the zoning boards of appeal view the zoning code as a whole. So even if there's specific language that applies to a residential district that is not contained in the industrial zone, if the industrial zone impacts a residential area, then you need to look to the more specific language. That is a matter of statutory construction that state courts simply require. And for special use permits, we look to guidance for in the Webster Town Code. And it says that they should be used for uses having some special impact or uniqueness which requires careful review of their location, design, configuration, and special impact to determine against fixed prescribed standards the desirability of permitting their establishment on any given site. There are uses which may or may not be appropriate in a particular location depending upon a weighing in each case of the need and benefit against the local impact and effect. That's what the Webster Town Code says, and if that's not the appropriate criteria for a special use permit, I don't know what is. And it's not just my opinion.
So,
One second, though. It's not just my opinion. Montante, when they submitted the application, in the letter I showed you, specifically said that they were applying for a special use permit. They recognized that a special use permit is and was required. Not just me, the developer did as well.
thank you. So, I appreciate that. I know I've had the opportunity to go through the code. I've had the opportunity to take a look through the industrial code as well. Go on.
Mr. Hanna, can you, in support of that argument that you're making, the specific versus the general, what is it between the two statutes that you believe are in confliction with each other?
Well, for a special use permit, it requires that the planning board and the town board give a great deal of consideration to many factors that are not required in industrial use. For an industrial use permit, it gives a list of activities and says, okay, if the activity that's proposed is similar to that, it's fine, it's in an industrial area, we don't really need to worry about it. If it's a special use permit, there are a whole bunch of factors and considerations, some of which I just read, that have to be considered by the planning board, have to be considered by the town board, and they weren't. And Montante knew that those were questions that needed to be asked. that that was information that needed to be provided, and that's why they acknowledged in writing to the town board and to the planning board that they needed a special use permit.
So, but you agree that the zoning board would have to find, in order to agree with your specific versus general construction argument, that there is in fact a conflict between 350.22 and 155.6?
No, I don't think there's a conflict is required. I think that, as I said at the outset, more specific if you have specific language that's applicable and general language that's applicable to a given application, the specific language trumps the general language. So there doesn't have to be a conflict per se. There just has to be, the specific language has to fill holes that the general language does not.
I respectfully submit, I think that the argument that you're making is accurate when there is a conflict. And if they can be read in harmony with one another, then I think the board has the right to interpret it, obviously, as they deem it should be applicable. And so I think the board, I think you correctly stated the law when there's a conflict. If the board doesn't find a conflict and they can read both statutes in harmony with each other, then it can make a determination based upon the applicability of the statute, not that one excludes the other.
I respectfully suggest that the law provides that where one statute requires more, you have to give more. You have to meet the higher standard.
Okay.
But there's a second, I don't know if we want to vote one
I can
issue
say
at a
I'm not
time,
an
but there's
attorney and all the.
I'm sorry?
I'm not an attorney, and all the jargon going back and forth has got me, got my head spinning a little bit, to be honest. I don't want to say I read things plainly. I looked at 155-6. I mean, that's pretty clear language that a special use permit is required in the residential district. It is silent on requiring a special use permit anywhere else. That's how I've read it. I've had the opportunity to go through, was it 350-22, which is industrial use as well. And again, certain sections in there lead me to believe that it's allowed within there. Is it explicit? It is not explicit, but the way I've read it, it's for me, it's pretty clear. I guess with that, I'm going to open it up to the board with questions, and there's a lot of things going on within the code and everything else, and back and forth. So, questions from the board?
The only question I have is that if the applicant is concerned that certain things that might come out or be pertinent to the design and moving the project forward, that they'd have a better chance of getting what they needed out of the application process. The planning board is most likely going to consider those issues anyhow. Anything that's required under a special permit, it's not like they're wearing blinders necessarily, because it's not a legal issue if planning board says, have you considered rotating the project or moving the driveway here or there? So my thought is that any of the applicant's concerns that somehow they're getting less of a review than they think they need or want, I don't know if I find that valid, because, like I said, the planning board would, I think, naturally look into all those items, whether or not they were tasked to by code. Did that make sense?
It did. Other questions and comments from the board?
Mr. Chairman, before there's,
Not,
I'm sorry.
no?
I have one question for the applicant that I guess I'm assuming is a typo throughout the application, but I just want to make sure. Under most of your sections, you're referring to a section 151-1 for a section within the code that is not part of the current code. I could not find it historically.
I apologize.
And
I
I'm
may have been-
assuming that that's just a typo, but I guess I just want to confirm that.
Probably so, I'm sorry.
Okay, so you're actually looking at, it should be 155-1 through 155-10.
Correct.
Okay.
Other questions from the board? No?
There-
No. not
No.
yet.
Mr. Hanna, you wanted to make one last comment?
Well, there's one more point that I'd like the board to consider
Okay.
with respect to the application. The classification, whether it should have been special use or industrial use, is only the first issue. The second issue is whether the town board approved the same project that the planning board approved, and it did not.
I don't think that's for this board I don't think that's our,
Actually,
Yeah, that's accurate.
yeah, so,
The issue is the appeal of Mr. Artuzo's refusal or failure to put the other special use permit before the town board. And that, I think it stops there. You may be accurate in the point that you're trying to make, but I don't think that issue is before this board.
Well, there are several issues that I've not raised before this board that are in fact in the Article 78, and they would be prosecuted there if necessary. However, I think that this board is entitled to determine whether the permits that had been approved were of the same project.
Well, I think, that goes more to the arbitrary and capricious standard that the Supreme Court judge will look at. Our duties here in the appeal capacity that you're asking us to look at here relative to the notice and the recommendation, I don't think it goes further than that. Otherwise, we would really be stepping into the shoes of the Supreme Court. We don't get paid enough for that.
Well, maybe you do.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, I guess I'm bringing it back to the board. Questions or any other dialogue after hearing everything that Mr. Hanna had presented, plus all the documentation that we have received over the last month or so. Any other questions? Anything else we want to discuss?
Let's be clear, we have Mr. Hanna's application, which is a notice of appeal and I believe a memoranda of law or the equivalent. I know all the board members have that.
Yep.
We have, I have a series of documents that are entitled, I think it's a letter from Montante to Josh Artuso, or is that something that I have on my?
No,
it's
that was the additional.
That was the additional
handouts from last
information,
meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the board has looked at the resolution from July of 2025.
Yes.
It has reviewed Chapter 155, which is the energy chapter. It has reviewed the industrial, I'm sorry, the,
350-22, the
Yeah.
industrial.
correct,
Zoning.
in 155.6 and the corresponding sections under the town code. Obviously, it's heard oral argument from Mr. Hannah. My comments, just want to make sure that the record's clear as to what you've all reviewed before you make any determinations. Anything else that I've left out?
That,
Besides the application, the short, looks like EAF,
there's a set of prints with the application.
That's the one,
Prints.
there's photographs
yeah,
included.
yep.
Right.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
I would encourage the board to address the merits of the application. You certainly have the right to make a determination as to whether the notice is timely. If you decided that it was not, you don't have to get to the merits. If you decide that it is, you get to the merits. I would only caution you that, you know, when you look at the New York Town Law 267A, and it references that each decision made by an administrative official charged with enforcement of zoning laws, and it talks about filing, and then it goes into what constitutes notice. I think Mr. Hannah raises some colorable claims as to the ambiguity of whether that notice is sufficient. You know, the very nature of notice in that context of a staff person at a municipality who doesn't have necessarily official orders, but is corresponding by email, memos of law, directives to the board, and whether or not that is sufficient notice.
It's a gray area.
Yeah, it could be interpreted different ways by different folks. So I think it's dangerous. I'm not saying that you can't, but I'm saying I think it's fraught with the potential that it may come back to you.
And I guess that's the question. If, let's say we went down that road and said it wasn't timely, it goes before, I suspect it would go before the New York State Supreme Court. At that point, they could turn around, say it was timely, and kick it back to us anyway.
And come back to
Right.
to make a determination. So that's not a reason to not to do it, but that certainly is a reason why you may want it to consider if you feel you have a sufficient record and sufficient information and you're positioned to make a determination on the merits. I don't see any reason why you should not. If you want to short circuit it and wait for that order, if the order comes, you can put it off for another day. My sense of this is that based upon the record that exists now, I can't imagine that coming back around another day, you're going to have anything further to evaluate.
Yeah, so, I mean, again, with what I'm hearing, the gray area of the timeliness of it, of the notice, to me, it makes more sense to make a determination on the merit. I think we have more than enough information presented to us, both in writing as well as verbally by Mr. Hannah, to be able to make that determination. I guess I'm looking to the board to agree or disagree.
I think we've heard it a couple times now, and, you know, depending on how much you may have individually looked into it, I think there's nothing that would be presented, well, I should.
Differently.
Differently,
Right.
that would be enough to move the meter at this point in time.
Fair enough.
Other than just like, let's consider it based on the merits of the interpretation, and then see where it goes from there.
Does everybody agree with that?
Okay.
Yes.
I do.
Okay. This is new to me, so is it just making a motion to make the interpretation as I see and let the board decide
Correct.
from there?
Just make sure you
Yes.
make it clear
I'll
which
do my-
interpretation you're
Okay.
putting forth.
Okay, let's see, so I make a motion for a zoning board interpretation regarding 139 Caracas Drive, with a SBL number of 065-02-1-40-11. Whether, let's see, whether the Xerox solar farm should have been reviewed under an industrial use permit or a special use permit in accordance with sections 155-6, sections 350-22, and section 350101D1 of the Code of the Town of Webster. Make a motion that based on 155-6, which reads, oh, is it up here? Yep, thank you. A large-scale solar energy systems are permitted through the issuance of a special use permit within all residential districts. That plain language indicates that a large-scale solar energy system can be installed in the industrial use site without the special use permit application process. I think I covered, nope.
I would
Hold.
just add the also known addresses.
Also known
We're
as.
being all legal here.
Oh, AK.
750 Phillips Road and
Right.
1460 Caracas Drive.
And we do not find any conflicting provisions of the code. So, sorry, say that one more time, Chris?
Just add the other addresses, just to
The address is, okay,
750 Phillips Road and 1460.
1460 Caracas Drive.
Even though the SBL is the same,
Yep,
let's
all right.
be diligent about our,
Should I, do I need to restate that?
no.
Okay.
No, do we want to poll each board member for their comments or additions to it, or,
I'm good with that. You want to start?
okay?
You ask.
Well, I just, I want it to be understood that every member of this board has considered this. There's been a lot of information before us, there's been a lot of sections of code, a lot of prints and a lot of, it's not a decision that I think the board makes lightly, but based on the wording of the code with which the town is required to live within,
Bound by?
bound by, I don't see where we could come to any other conclusion. The industrial use is permitted with respect to looking at section 350-22. The process is very similar regardless of how it goes through. It goes to the town board, it goes to the planning board, it gets analyzed and revisited and rehashed, then goes back to the town board for approval. Based on how the solar code is written, I only see the special use permit required for residential uses. Large-scale solar in an industrial use is not deemed as specifically being required of a special use permit. And it does actually go into the next section that says that large-scale solar is permitted in commercial districts just simply by site plan review through the town board or the planning board. And it just has to comply with all setbacks.
Yep. Chris?
I agree with Corinne and would add that even though there might be a little more scrutiny given a special use permit based on a residential district, I have full faith in the planning board that they would have looked at any conditions required by the residential district for that and, import them into their review and final decision-making process for it. I mean, that's what they're there for, and I think they do a generally good job of it.
Thank you. Mr. Artuso?
I agree with what's been said already. I don't know how I could repeat everything, but I don't think it's necessary.
In agreement also.
Can I get a motion? No?
Yes,
Vote?
second.
Oh,
We do it just in case.
yeah, okay. Before we move forward, if any public wants to speak for or against, please come on up.
Good evening. My name is Jerry Bouchard. I live at 632 Pine Lakes Trail. And I have been to almost every meeting there has been regarding this solar project.
Can you please speak into the microphone?
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I heard a lot tonight and a lot of rationale and reasoning. The one thing I did not hear is how it is going to affect the people that live right on top of this project. And I have not heard the word toxic, which is what that industrial permit is allowing you to put a solar farm on toxic waste. My home is adjacent to that, and I won't suffer the consequences nearly as much as some of my friends back there. Some homes that are being built by a builder that's right now being built some of them are going to be about 200 feet from this solar panels. And they don't know that. Nobody has told them that. They do not know that. And you don't expect that the builder is going to tell them that. After all, he's out to sell homes. The problem I'm having here is, you probably know from my voice, I'm not from here. I'm from Long Island. I moved up here and had a custom home built on a beautiful piece of property. Was not aware that Xerox existed behind me and it was solar waste. It wasn't bad enough that I built a house there, but I think at that time there was surrounding farms all around there. The town went ahead and let a builder go ahead and build homes there. So close to toxic waste. I'm sure the builder didn't know that a solar project would be funded by New York State and no cost to Montante, no cost to anybody, but that the residents would suffer. There's a lot to be considered here. And I really, really hope that you take into consideration that a special use permit would have listened to my concerns. My concerns are, I don't want that in my backyard. 17 acres of trees are going to be cut down for this solar farm. I thought Webster was all about green space. That doesn't sound very green to me. We have lots and lots of wildlife back there that live back there. They're the only things that can live in toxic waste. And you're taking that part away from them and a lot from me. So when you consider this, make sure that you consider the people that live around it, just like you consider the people with the cell phone towers that are being subjected to this. I came here 8 years ago to Webster because it reminds me of back home. Back home has no elbow room. And now you folks are allowing these ridiculous things. And those solar panels are ridiculous where they're being put. Solar panels are great. I'm for clean energy. I think they're great, but not where you're putting it. Please consider the residents, just this one time, consider us. Do the right thing and let it get shut back and do a real assessment on what this means to the residents there. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, appreciate it. Anybody else want to speak for or against the project? No? Okay. I guess back to the board. Should I restate? Or what was already stated?
No, if the rest of the board
Agrees.
what you said 10 minutes ago.
I remember.
Need a second.
I'll second it.
Are we done? Good?
Yep.
Okay, Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Corso,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. With that, we'll move on to Waterview Apartments, Phase 3. Cleared the room.
It's hard not to take that personally, but
You got in trouble.
good evening. My name is Chris Nadler. I'm General Counsel for Mark IV Enterprises. It's nice to see you all again, and it's nice to be back here with you all. I'm here for a renewal of some area variances that the project was received from the Zoning Board of Appeals last year. They've now expired or about to expire. We were set for the zoning board meeting agenda last night, but I understand, or last month, but I understand there was some notice issues, so we got bumped here, and that was obviously fine with us. Waterview at Willow Point, Phase 3, has received site plan approval from the planning board, and it just was renewed 2 months ago, I believe. We received certain area variances related to our driveway length from this board, and we're proposing 56 townhouse units to complete the existing townhome development at Waterview off of Bay Road. We own and operate 62 of the townhouses currently, and there's a homeowners association in the front of the project with 35 units, some of which Mark IV owns and operates. So what we're requesting is a renewal of our variances for a front setback of 18.7 feet where 75 feet is required, and a single-family district buffer to McEwen of 38.5 feet where 100 feet is required. These setbacks match the existing driveway setbacks, front setbacks throughout the townhome development in both the homeowners association and the apartments for rent section, and are necessitated in large part because of the unique shape of the parcel. There's roads on 3 sides of this parcel, and given the topography and the location, this is everything is a front setback, so we don't have any rear setbacks really. Either way, we would want the shorter front setback because people don't want a 75-foot driveway. We don't want to build it, our residents don't want to live on it, and the town doesn't want us putting that much asphalt right here in a sensitive environmental area. As you can see from our PowerPoint, The character of the neighborhood won't be affected. This is a variance, first of all, that this board has granted in the past, and it matches the setbacks on the existing townhomes and the driveway distances. Will be as much as 85 feet between the proposed townhouses and the houses along McEwen, which is similar to where we are now with the existing townhouses. From a substantiality standpoint, again, these are the same setbacks that we have existing, and we're proposing the same driveway distances. Granting the variances will reduce runoff because there'll be less impervious pavement, and it will increase green space that will have a positive impact on the environment. And from a self-created difficulty standpoint, as I mentioned, this is an odd-shaped property with difficult topography. It's surrounded by roads on 3 sides. The property is encumbered by easements and utilities. Not just for us, there's a, let's say, sanitary sewer line that runs through it that feeds the adjacent parcel on the other side of our existing townhomes. So it's not a self-created difficulty. Nothing has changed since this board did grant the variances a year ago. Conditions in the neighborhood and the community remain the same. Our proposal remains the same, and therefore we would ask that the board renew our variance.
Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Yeah, I do. I don't have a site plan, so I'm a little bit confused. Where is the 18 point whatever feet setback? Is it on McEwen?
So roughly, it's all of the driveways are about that. What the town instructed us to do when we filed this variance request 2 years ago probably, was take the shortest front setback, which was 18.7 feet. We have similar setbacks, that the setback next door is 19.2 feet. The setback next to that is 20.4 feet, as an example. So that the 18.7 is the smallest, and I believe, as you were looking at it, it would be on the southeast corner of, which is Willow Point Way and Maritime Drive. It's one of those driveways. Yep.
Building 3.
Building 3?
It's going.
But the general answer is they're all about that distance.
It doesn't, within your development, the setbacks aren't bothersome to me. What is bothersome to me is along McEwen. Because directly across the street, you have some very nice single-family homes. And what you're proposing to me is not in character with that neighborhood, particularly because it's so close. I mean, going from 100 feet setback to 18, I think, is rather significant.
Oh, sorry, I misspoke. Well, the setback is 18 feet of the driveway. The driveways are 18 feet to the property line. There's then, and I'm ballparking here because I'm a lawyer, not an engineer, but there's, I believe, 20 feet of right-of-way before you hit pavement of McEwen Drive.
If you can zoom in onto proposed,
Building 4,
is that what that is?
yeah, the one in the middle.
Yeah, the one right in the middle?
This one?
Yeah, if you can just zoom in.
There'd be at least 10
Yeah,
feet
so
of right-of-way.
It's 59.9 feet from the building face to the edge of McEwen Drive.
Thank you, sir.
So still, to your point, not a 100-foot setback, but it is a 60-foot, 60 feet from the edge of the road, which then there's right-of-ways and other things there. So it looks like 41.8 feet from, I'm assuming that big fat black line is the property line? Is that
Yes,
correct?
I believe that's correct.
So it looks like 41.8 feet from the property line. And then 38.5 feet to the building to the left, and was that 54.7 feet building to the right.
So if you drove by the property earlier today, our trees, it's an overgrown parcel. Our trees come right to the edge of McEwen right now.
Well, that's a moot point. They're all disappearing.
Yes, absolutely. No, my point is, the property line is not actually where our trees stop. The property line is 10, 15 feet back from that, which is where we have to measure from, which is what Mr. Short just pointed out.
Yep.
I guess just to give a little bit of a history of the project, the first time this project was before the board, and I can't tell you how long ago it was, this was an 8-story apartment building. And then that changed to, I think, 2 3-story apartment buildings that were much longer than what is permitted by code. And then, and I think those were 90 to 100 units. And between this board, and I don't know if the planning board, the applicant was continued, go back and try again, go back and try again. So the last proposal that was brought before the board was to make them 2-story townhouses to be more in line with the rest of the townhouses within that complex, as well as more matching the area of the surrounding homes that are also single and 2-story homes. So that's just how we got here. Whether it's right or wrong, it's expired, so we can.
What are the circumstances with respect to the expiration?
Well, in the town of Webster, variances automatically expire, and there's no renewal process, so the only way to get a renewal is by reapplying.
No, I'm sorry. My question was, a year passed by, what were the circumstances?
Why haven't you
What's
started
taking so
construction?
long?
Why did I miss
What's
it?
taking so long? I like it.
Well, in December of 2024, I had a heart attack, which was about 3 days before the town mailed the notice, and so I didn't give it to my assistant to calendar it. It expired, and that's on me. That being said, we are still waiting signatures on our site plan approval. We do have site plan approval. The DEC is stalled in giving its wetland jurisdictional determinations, and so that's why the planning board granted a renewal of
So
that.
there were substantive reasons outside of your medical situation for the delay?
Correct, yes. But the reason we missed the deadline, well, I guess there wasn't a deadline. We would have had to reapply
I wasn't
either
so much
way.
concerned about the deadline, just substantively,
Yeah.
what's gone on in the last 12 months following?
Yeah, we're waiting for jurisdictional determination from the DEC.
And ultimately,
A
we've
court
had-
out of Albany told the DEC they couldn't issue those determinations anymore, so the DEC is in a holding pattern and not issuing them, which is frustrating to all the civil engineers in Rochester who would like to get these things signed and move on.
Sure.
Of course. Okay. Other questions from the board?
How you feeling?
Much better, thank you very much. Much, much better, thank you.
Other questions? I'd like to open it up to the public. If anybody wants to speak for or against?
And there was a letter.
There was.
Several.
Yeah, we'll hear from the public first, and
Good evening, George Kugler. I live at 449 McEwen Drive. I'm sort of kitty corner to the project there. I know Chris quite well, Mr. Nadler. I have a couple of, my letter is one of the ones that I submitted prior to the previous scheduled meeting, and I know there were several others submitted from other neighbors on McEwen Drive that have numerous concerns. One of the, points Mr. Nadler made was that this is similar to the existing townhomes and similar setbacks, which I would respectfully disagree with. 56 units, if you look at the map, they have 62 units over their entire project, or the entire phase 2 of the project. This is on a much smaller parcel than what these 62 units currently are on, and you could not fit, 62 units of the design that they currently have on this parcel. So I would disagree that they are similar to what they already have built on that point. And I also, I haven't seen any elevation drawings of what these buildings are actually going to look like. We have a 10-unit townhome directly across from 3 single-family homes. So, you're triple the density in the same area that you currently have. The setbacks that the town requires are there for a reason, and that's to provide a buffer between the single-family, low-density, areas and these, higher-density projects. I would also say I know the project only now fits the acreage requirement by adjoining 2 parcels that were previously separate. And as you can see from the site plan, that easily 90% or more of the project is still on the original parcel that did not meet the acreage requirements. So while it's within the, technically within the law, it's not necessarily within the spirit of it. They're skirting around those issues by doing that. And that he's talking about the 3 roads. Well, 2 of the roads that are on the project are their privately owned drives. So, those are their own construction. They can do it with those what they want. And whether it's self-created, this is their design. This is a pretty wide open lot. There's no reason they couldn't build townhomes, fewer townhomes, with the setbacks that are required, situated differently on the property than they're currently proposing. He also talks about the setbacks to, my property on McEwen Drive, 449, next to the existing townhomes. Well, that's not a face-to-face, front-to-front setback. That's a side, from side lot to side lot, which is much different than someone who is directly across the street, looking at now this, 56-unit, complex that is all of a sudden being put up on this, very compact area.
I apologize, you said you were what number?
449.
449, got it. Okay, thank you.
I'd also ask if they, have they been able to secure, I know part of the issue with the original project or some of the projects that was whether they had an easement through the private townhome access from Bay Road, and I don't know if they've been able to negotiate that with the existing townhomes. But now you're looking at a significant increase of traffic to this medium residential property through the single-family, dead-end road that only has 7 homes on it. We've already seen a significant increase in traffic over the last few years, since they posted that is a private, the privately owned townhomes have, posted signage on that drive. So I would, hope a lot of those would be considered. I know I've heard in the planning boards and such, they talk about stretching the rubber band and how far we're willing to go in granting easements and what, I know they say that these are supposed to all be considered on an individual basis, but at what point, do we set some sort of precedent to, for other developments that we're having or, cutting these requirements by half or 3/4 of what the town code that was designed and approved for reasons are we, going to bypass, basically. So I think my letter and some of the other letters express most of those concerns pretty pretty well.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Other questions from the board?
One other, just a quick question. I don't know if the application has been updated at all, but I don't believe there was an elevation drawing. I mean, I think that's very important to be actually visually interpret what this project is going to actually look like from the perspective of these single-family homes.
There wasn't an elevation drawing for the planning board?
Not that I
I
have.
don't know.
There have been multiple elevation drawings submitted to the town, including for this application. It's going to look like a townhouse. If we haven't seen them, it's going to look like townhouses. Very similar to the existing townhouses that are right there.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question? Is it okay? Can I be like a part of the?
Well, you're not,
I'm not sitting on the
Yeah,
board,
she's not,
so right?
she can.
But she's a member of
She's
the
a
public.
member of the
I'm a
community.
member of the public.
That's a
you're just trying to stump me tonight.
yeah, I'm not sure.
Would you like to make a comment?
I'll make a comment. Well,
You gotta stand up and
I'm
go to
gonna
the
need you to
podium.
come up to the podium, though.
And let's make it clear that you're in your non-official capacity.
I am in my non-official capacity. I just have a question in regard to the private drive, the nautical mile, the private road. I've driven down that a number of times, especially in inclement weather, when it snows. And my concern is emergency vehicles having access to the buildings that are right along and are not on either side of the public roads. I do know that personally, that road is often not plowed. And it's often very dicey and very hazardous, where a number of people don't even go down it. So,
This is Willow Point Way you're talking about?
no, nautical mile drive, but behind the
It's not on
one
this.
building that's a two-story. So I'm just saying there, that I know that, when it comes to the wintertime, many people don't even like going down there because it's more treacherous than an access.
And I'm gonna need you to state your name.
My name is Stacy D'Amelio.
Thank you.
Okay.
Where does Nautical Mile?
It's this road right here.
Just,
Oh, okay, yep.
Wait, no, that's Maritime.
Is it maritime?
Oh,
No, that's
Right now
Nautical
it's
Mile.
I think that
not.
was Maritime. but-
It's listed in the plans as Maritime Drive. It's listed in our GIS system as nautical mile.
There you go.
Okay.
Yes.
and for my clarification, that's a private drive, not for through access of the townhomes? I'm confused.
The town fire marshal, I believe, has required that be for through access for emergency vehicles and school buses and the like. It is used without, we have not had any objection in, I don't know, half a dozen years probably, to anybody else using it. There's multiple points of access to this entire development. So there is through access there, as required by the fire marshal of the town of Webster.
And
Has,
go ahead.
has the fire marshal seen the current layout that was approved the last time?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know there used to be, the fire chiefs of the different departments used to look at the plans
Yeah.
just to verify that they can actually get a fire truck and access to all sides of the building. Less of a concern with a two-story perhaps than if you have a multi-story, but I just want to make sure that we do still consider emergency vehicles. Fire trucks are large.
Just to clarify, these plans haven't changed, correct, from when they were approved previously?
That's correct. Thank you,
Okay.
Erica.
Thank you.
So if I recall correctly, There were some conditions that we put on this last year, if I remember correctly.
I sent you a copy of the approval from 2024 via email, so you should have it, and if you don't, I have a hard copy right here.
Okay.
I can share mine if you'd like.
Yeah, would you mind?
Can you share that with me?
Yes. Thank you.
I don't know if this applies or not. How does this, since the approval has expired, how does this fit within the moratorium that was just enacted by the town board for new developments?
So because this project received final approval already, they don't fall under the moratorium.
Okay.
It's for projects that have not received a preliminary or final approval.
Okay, so the variance has expired, but the final approval did not expire.
Correct, they received an extension of that approval, I believe, last week.
Right,
I think it was like April.
or
right
last month.
before the moratorium, I
Yeah.
believe.
Okay.
Yep.
So, conditions that were placed on granting the variance the last time, building facing Nautical Mile Drive, to have an 18.7-foot setback. The building facing McEwen Drive needed to be shifted by 2 feet to the south. And driveway, so the building to be shifted by 2 feet and the driveway to be moved south by 5 feet to create a 5-foot district buffer and front setback to the building of 43.8 feet. The western 10-unit building fronting Willow Point Way was to have a front setback of 38.5 feet. And district buffer area of 38.5 feet. And increase of the total vegetation in the buffer zone, and to work with the town to provide buffering in McEwen Road right-of-way. So I guess my question, all the conditions that were previously presented, no issues with any of those conditions then?
No issues.
Okay.
Just to note, the plan that is on the screen right now, that's October 2024, was not the final plan that was approved. There was actually a connector road, so that there were not 6 different driveways out onto McEwen. but
Correct.
there's one entrance,
Oh,
and all 6
that-
of those are connected.
This came from your PowerPoint.
I got the drawing.
The correct plan, it's in your PowerPoint somewhere.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Sorry, I just pulled
Nope,
up the
that's-
other
there
one,
was so
so
many
it
versions.
looks
Looks
like
so
it'd be
similar.
bigger, yeah, so.
That's another feature that we did do to,
I think that was with the
Alleviate
planning
that.
board that came
Yeah.
out of, if I remember correctly.
Hey, Mr. Short, can you please reread the setback from McEwen Drive? Again,
The building facing McEwen Drive shall be shifted south by 2 feet, and driveway shall be moved south by 5 feet. So,
well, I guess the question for the applicant is, we have in our possessions drawings dated May 2026. Are these drawings, have they addressed moving
Yes.
addressing those conditions?
those were addressed prior to receiving site plan approval from the planning board.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
other questions from the board?
It's not our role to do site plan approval, but it's,
No, but it, right? it's
because I would have
asked
done
for-
this different, but it's
Sure.
not our role.
Do you have any plans on developing the rest of the acreage that's part of this lot?
Absolutely not. It's a 45-degree angle down to the
Well,
lake.
but I guess I would like to add that as a condition, if this board does approve it, that
The
there
rest of the
will
site.
be no
Understood.
further development.
Understood and agreed.
Do you think you can get it started within the 12 months that any new
Yes.
variances would be
Yes.
accomplished? Okay.
Yes.
Approval for DEC.
She just asked him that. If he doesn't think so, he could say no.
Right.
I've talked to the owners about this, that they're not building anymore. It would be prohibitively expensive. This is enough here. This is a good, solid, this is a good stopping part.
Skirting the 5 acre requirement.
Okay. Other questions?
Michael, I think there was a letter that came in this afternoon that was supposed to be read.
There's several. Do you mind, can you pull up the letter that came in this afternoon?
That's for cell tower.
Can anybody read that?
If I get really close to my screen, I can.
It doesn't have to be read in as long as everybody acknowledges.
Is there
that
something
they've read it.
specific?
No, I
in the
just
letter?
didn't know if it had to be read in or not.
No, there's several.
No, but
They are going to be part of
they will be part of
the
it, so we should
application
at
anyway.
least-
That's all I was concerned about.
Yep.
Just mention that we've received the correspondence and they'll be part of the official record.
Yep.
Record.
There we go. Is this the one you're referring to?
The July 14th.
This is the only one that I got today.
Yes,
So
actually.
this must be it, yep.
When was it?
Yes, this is it.
Yes, July
It was
14th.
at
This is it.
148.
Remember that.
Yes, I'm sorry. What else I received?
Is this pulled up so you guys can
Yeah.
read it into
Yeah.
the record, or just reading it for
No,
your
no,
own
I just,
No.
can
personal?
you go to the bottom of the letter for a moment?
Yep.
Okay, so the board is seeing the letter from Dorothy Fate, F-A-I-T, which is dated, Erica on top, I know it was
July
sent.
14th.
July 14th,
Has
2020.
everybody
Yep.
on the board had a chance to review that letter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
And there's
We
been
also
several
received
others
several
as well.
others. Did
Okay.
you want,
You should at least title them, and the record shows like the board has acknowledged each board member that they've read that
we
letter from
received,
Ms. Fate.
I can pull them up if you'd like. Or Erica, you can, whatever's easiest.
I don't have the letters.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
We received one on July 8th from David Geyer at 400 McEwen. Nope, that was a cell tower. On June 2nd, from Deborah Coos at 446 McEwen. And that was chickens.
Did you get the June 9th one? I think there was one from June 9th as well. Is that right? No.
June 9th, I have minutes. I have a June 1st.
June 1st, okay.
Nope, that's chickens. That one's also chickens. George.
June 2nd, yeah, that was the last one I had.
George Kugler, I'm pronouncing it wrong, at 449, which the applicant is speaking now.
Yep. Online submission, that's June 2nd. No, online submission.
Oh, missed that one. That was another cell phone.
44 McEwen, Charlie Johnson, that was June 8th as well. So I guess it looks like 3 online forms were submitted. Has the board had the opportunity to read and take those into consideration as well?
Yes.
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 Okay. All right. Other questions from the board? Can we have the other view up, Erica? Can we have the other one up? Thank you. Appreciate it. I guess if there's no other questions from the board, I'm gonna, where did it go? Bear with me. I'm gonna make a motion for, I have to do seeker again, right? Because it's a,
Yeah, and I want to be clear here that the board is not relying
on the last issue.
on any information of which the previous approval was based. If these board members, weren't present at the prior approval, I don't know.
This is a new application, is essentially what this is.
It is, but I want to make sure that inferentially, either from the applicant standpoint or the board standpoint, that they're not relying on information that wasn't specified in this application, but they are familiar with from a previous application. And I don't know. I don't know who was a voting member at that time.
I think the 3 of us were. And
I wasn't.
I believe I was here.
You were here?
I believe so.
Okay, so
Gotcha.
4 out of the 5 board members were here for the previous application.
Yep.
And the board member that was not here, is there any information that wasn't presented tonight that you're relying on to make any decisions here?
No, I'm relying on my own feelings about the thing.
Okay.
It's a question of, when someone buys a house and they look at the property across the street, and I was on a planning board too, so I know it's not a question of you can't build there because you're going to block my view. I'm not looking at that. It was zoned one way, so it's multifamily residential, so to speak. But they're also looking at certain setbacks requirements. And if you know it's going to be across the street, but it's going to be set back so far, then I think that that's what you're counting on. I mean, if it was me living across the street, I wouldn't be happy. And that's the way I feel about it. Because going from 100 feet to 43 is a big difference. And I just have a problem with it personally.
Appreciate it. Yeah. All right. With that, I'd like to make a motion for type 2 action under seeker pursuant NYCR section 617.5C of the environmental code.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Findings? Anybody? Anybody want to touch this one? Yeah, I see that. All right, so, now, the question of, is this request out of character in the neighborhood? We have 2 different neighborhoods, essentially. You have McEwen, which is single-family residential, and then you have the multi-housing area, townhome area adjacent to it. The being out of character for the townhome. This project is not out of character for the townhome properties. However, looking at the single-family residential across the street, there is a potential for this to be out of character. The presentation of these being two-story, the intent is to make these look more characteristically similar to a single-family residential, as evident through some of the site plans of the townhomes themselves. They have proper offsets to really present themselves as single-family homes, although there are 10 units per building. Is there a detriment created to nearby properties? The argument could be made that there is not a detriment created to nearby properties. Having a residential house, residential structure on a residential street is not necessarily a detriment to nearby properties. These are residential, not commercial properties. Benefit is not achieved by any other methods. The benefit of building on this site, there is already additional townhomes on the site, so it is a continuation of what is already on the site itself. Could other means have been able to achieve it, to provide the buildings identified on the site, and due to the topography of the site, other means were not feasible in the layout. The only way to make it feasible would be to eliminate one or more of the buildings. Request is not substantial. It falls in line with the existing use of the site to the, I guess that'd be the east of the site. No adverse physical or environmental impacts to the site. Difficulty is itself created. Again, right now the site is a vacant plot. Reducing the amount of structures would reduce some of the requirements. However, due to the topography of the site, both all the way down to the water's edge, as well as the topography of the site where the structures are identified, makes it more difficult. So that is why the structures are identified and shown as they were in the plans. It's not an undesirable change. Again, continuing the existing structures throughout. And is this request significant? The request is asking for setbacks on multiple frontages to accommodate the new site, to accommodate the new structures, to align with what the existing townhomes are in the built to the east of the site. Does anybody else want to add anything to the findings? Okay. Let's see. I guess I'll make a motion for area variance. Let's see. For For the Waterview Apartments Phase 3 located at the northwest corner of Willow Point Way and Nautical Mile Drive. An area variance to allow a front setback of, bear with me, let's see, of 18.7 feet, where 75 feet is required. And to allow a single-family district buffer of 38.5 feet where 100 feet is required in association with the construction of 6 buildings plus community center, total of 56 units, each 2 stories in height on a proposed 13.15 acre parcel having SBL 093.06-3-64.11 located in an MHR medium-high residential district under section 350-14 of the Code of the Town of Webster, with, let's see, with conditions for the building facing Nautical Mile Drive to have an 18.7-foot front setback. The building facing McEwen Drive shall be shifted south by 2 feet, and driveway shall be moved south by 5 feet to create a 5-foot district buffer and front setback to building 43.8 feet. The western 10-unit building fronting Willow Point Way to have a front setback of 38.5 feet and district buffer area of 38.5 feet. An increase of total vegetation in the buffer zone, and to work with the town to provide buffering on McEwen Road right-of-way.
No further development?
No, yeah, I was.
We got that, I got that.
I was getting there. And the developer consents to no further development on the remaining parcel all the way down to the lake edge. I think I covered everything. Is there anything else, any other conditions that I missed?
You get a traffic control device on Maritime Drive? Stop requiring a stop sign there?
I'm not sure that's within the board's
I was
purview.
gonna say, that's
That's a
the
site plan.
Can we make
Site
that
plan and-
recommendation?
Yeah.
Sorry,
there are,
what did you say, Karen?
Can we make that recommendation to the planning board? Because that's, we can't dictate
Yeah, we
that,
can't
but
dictate that.
that's not even a potentially a planning board issue, that's
Is
a
it- this is going back
road,
to
that's
the
a
planning
traffic
board again?
engineering issue.
Well,
No,
except
they
it's a
already
private road.
received
Okay.
their extension for the site plan.
Okay,
So
so it's not
on-
going back to,
once they get their variances,
they're done and they can move forward.
correct.
I got you.
But
So-
the town can still require that. on
Correct. The
yeah.
town can still re-review the plans and based on,
Recommendations that there
Recommend-
be a stop sign?
correct. But that is not something that this board can condition.
Correct.
No,
But the
If
town
the
will
town
still be
engineer wants us to pull
re-reviewing
one
the
in.
pre-Mylar phase.
Okay, right.
So it's still technically in the review,
Still being reviewed.
yes.
Okay.
Can this board make a recommendation to
Sure.
the town for that
yes.
statement?
Absolutely.
Okay. In addition to the condition, the zoning board makes a recommendation for the town to evaluate a traffic control device at Maritime Drive and, is that?
McEwen.
Right, Maritime Drive and McEwen. What is the new road's name? The connector road? Because I would also do one there.
I don't know that we have a name yet.
And the new road to the west of the property, in McEwen.
I think that might just be an extension of Willow Point Way.
But, okay. Anything else I'm missing? I need a second. Sorry, what was that?
Yes, I don't think there's anything else.
Okay. I need a second from the board if the board so desires.
Under New York state law, variances aren't required to be passed by motion. You don't technically need a motion. The recording secretary can, at the direction of the chair, call the question. That being said, I think if there's not sufficient votes, we may want to have a discussion. As I've mentioned before, the application is identical and there have been no changed circumstances. And while it is a new application, there's a standard in New York state law that the arbitrary and capricious standard where you would have to explain why something was different than when the same board granted the same variances. So at this point, I guess if there's, maybe you want to talk to your attorney.
Well, it's a different board, of course.
Sure.
And as a matter of practice, we have always had a second. I don't think I've had a situation where we haven't, and that it's gone to a vote. You may be right. It would be a matter of first impression for me, but that may be in fact the case.
So
I'll
has-
second it. It's
well,
it's no
Be-
different.
before I go any further, I guess my question is, do you want to table the matter for further discussion?
Yeah, thank you.
Is
I request that.
okay.
Thank you.
So we're going to table this matter for further discussion and go from there.
Well, I think we need to, if we're going to table it, we need to tell him if we're looking for something specific or what.
Okay, yeah, let's clean up where we were first of all.
All right.
There was a
All right, I'm
motion.
going to remove my second.
Okay. So, John, next steps from where we're at right now.
So there's a motion.
Mm-hmm.
There is no second.
Okay.
Right. While we await my counsel on that issue, the applicant is seeking to now table the matter. Is that accurate?
Yes, please.
Okay. You can take that up if you so choose.
As a motion to table the matter?
Yep.
So
Withdraw your motion.
So I'm going to withdraw my motion for Waterview Apartments, and make a motion to table the matter until further notice.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Short,
Aye.
Mr. Corso,
Aye.
Mr. Santola,
Aye.
Mr. Spampanato,
Aye.
Mrs. Volo.
Aye.
Okay, the matter has been tabled.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thanks, Eric.
Give that back to,
No.
thank you.
Are we ever going to get the cell towers back, Catherine? Do you know if we're ever going to get the cell towers back?
It'll be a while.
I,
It'll be a while because the town is doing, they have to do their own evaluation.
Yeah,
so
no,
we do have one,
approve
yes,
the
we've
minutes.
got minutes.
I
If
gotta
everyone
use-
has had an opportunity to look at the June 9th meeting minutes,
Yes.
I would make a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.